And I say this as someone who's like, I mean, yeah, he said rip literally right as it happened. That was also crazy. I was so tuned in. He said, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. It was like him and Donald Trump saying it at the same time. What are we doing?
When you say you believe that...
That's crazy. George Santos, Eric Adams podcast title, Not Guilty. Oh, that's a banger. Oh my God. Eric Adams has more charisma, I think, than George Santos, though. I'll be honest. Like, I genuinely think that he is a force. He is the goated. Yeah, Candace Owens jump scare. I know. This is another thing that I wanted to cover. We're moving on to Candace Owens now. Candace Owens on Charlie Kirk's death. I'll be honest with you guys. Something that, this is anecdotal, but something that a lot of people are absolutely freaking out about in the media side, in the politician side, is exactly how much motion Candace Owens has. Like, people cannot believe how she basically single-handedly dismantled the administration's attempts to just like have a singular focus on how Trantifa was responsible for Charlie Kirk's murder is pretty crazy. And I also can't believe how much people just like leaned into whatever the fuck she was cooking up. Why are people scared of her? Literally, what's she doing? I mean, she's pretty insane. I think what a lot of these guys on the independent side that are like really popping off have in common is that they just always have like truly insane points of view. Truly insane points of view. Like she believes in basically alien style conspiracies in many respects. Yeah, I'm not talking about like the anti-Semitism. Like that stuff obviously is commonplace at this point in the independent right-wing circles. But I mean like Tucker Carlson, for example, thinks that like there is he's been haunted by spirits, right? And Candace Owens also has like weird kooky ass takes like that, which she even will like add into the Charlie Kirk stuff, was because remember one of her arguments was that that there was like a tunnel system underneath where they opened up a pocket and like Charlie Kirk from the ground. But yeah, she single-handedly made so many people believe that Israel assassinated Charlie Kirk, and it's pretty wild. She says we're moving through the top 10 all year, but I woke up this morning from the news to Podscribe that we are the #1 podcast in the world. Thank you, Kanye, for creating the song Power, which reminds me daily that nothing is possible without the consistent screams of haters. I feel like there's motherfuckers in this chat who even believe it, which is crazy.
When you say you believe that Charlie Kirk was betrayed by someone close to him, what do you mean?
I think that in the coming weeks, there's going to be a lot of financial reports that are coming out. And I, first and foremost, do not believe that Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. I want to be very clear on that. Whether he was involved, I think the answer is yes. I think that's obvious. And
your basis for saying he didn't act alone is what?
I wonder if I was named #1 anti-Semite of the year as opposed to Candace Owens, if I would become the #1 podcast. Something to think about.
Maybe the weird Fed messages
No, you would not. You are left wing. Okay, guys, what if I went right wing? Okay, how about that?
Were concocted out of thin air that had no timestamp and were written like they were speaking in 1822, among other things. Their lack of an ability to answer any basic questions about what took place.
But do you have any proof that the messages were made up? Because that would be easily proven.
Yeah, but they didn't put timestamps on them, and Discord came out and said
Wait, what? No, that's not. No, I initially was suspicious on the messages too, but low key, that is kind of how Tyler Robinson does speak. And I don't know if it was like a Mormon thing. Having said that, there were no timestamps because you didn't see the OG messages. You saw the media cover the messages. Candace Owens has positioned herself as sort of a citizen investigator of Charlie Kirk's murder. She's completely flummoxed by a basic fact of the case here.
It didn't exist.
This was supposedly text messages, not Discord messages. It's my understanding from the indictment.
Yeah, it's true. It's text messages, not Discord messages.
I actually did not read that they were text messages.
The indictment calls them text messages.
What would it be like the feds are like on a computer, like typing it out back and forth?
That's exactly what it is. The feds made up the text messages.
But you don't have anyone from like the FBI telling you that, or law enforcement?
Leaks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has anyone leaked to you?
And Tyler...
Has anyone said to you, even off the record, like, yeah, we faked these?
I have very strong sources everywhere on both sides.
Well, I look forward to seeing the evidence of that.
Yeah, sure. Because when we keep talking about evidence, it's like, who's going to present that evidence? Like the mainstream media? Like who?
It does suck that this investigation and immediate response from Netanyahu are both weird as... Yes. I'll tell you what. Israel didn't do itself any favors with that. That was pretty crazy. It was pretty alarming that Benjamin Netanyahu, the least likable, most demon-like man, thought that he could just go on camera and be like, I did not kill Charlie Kirk. Twice. Not once, but twice. It was weird as... Probably would have been better if he didn't say nothing. But he thought, this will do all right. This will be good. This will quiet down the rumors, he thought. It did not. It made it worse. I never was on the, Israel Charlie Kirk camp, but goddamn, dude. Goddamn. He made it hard. He made it hard for me. And I say this as someone who's like, he said rip literally right as it happened. That was also crazy. I was so tuned in. He said, rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. It was like him and Donald Trump saying it at the same time. What are we doing? You're on a whole ass different time zone on the other side of the planet. I get it, brother. You got 25K people watching you. We're all concerned that this could happen again to people we care about. No, I think like, first of all, do I think that Israel is above doing a high-profile assassination on U.S. soil? No. Okay. 100%. Of course they would do it. Okay. Maybe they have. But there is no, the whole idea revolves around Charlie Kirk actually Charlie Kirk was about to turn on Israel publicly. That is bullshit. That's just straight up bullshit. I don't believe that. Erica Kirk moved more sus than Bibi. Erica was moving sus too. True. But yeah, this all hinges on Charlie Kirk being woke on Israel, and it's bullshit. Or even more bullshit than that, this all hinges on Charlie Kirk publicly disavowing Trump and Trump's position on Israel. That was never happening. Okay? That was just never happening. He met Erica Kirk in Israel. He met Erica Kirk on his way to Israel. I'm too close to it as well, as far as I was literally about to debate him on the issue of Israel. So 2 weeks prior to his assassination. So I know what his opinions on Israel are. I was, following it closely. There was 0% chance he was turning on Israel. That was not happening.
Who are you expecting to come out?
That would be a hot story.
No, it wouldn't be.
It would be.
It wouldn't be.
If the FBI, if I had a source telling me, if I had proof that the FBI faked those messages, that would be an enormous story.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what about the text where he said he had no choice but to leave the pro-Israel position? No, he didn't say that. He said that he was annoyed with a lot of the conservative Jewish donors on Turning Point USA because they were constantly yelling at him and calling him an anti-Semite, even though he had been a diehard supporter of Israel his whole career, only because he was desperately trying to merge Tucker Carlson and his contingency back into the MAGA movement when they were falling out of favor with Israel, and that he was trying to keep a big tent going. That's why Charlie Kirk got killed, okay? Because he wanted a big tent. That's what happens to people who try to do coalition building. Okay? No, but actually, that is what he was trying to do. He was trying to, not hemorrhage all of his followers to the Groypers. And he was trying to figure out the best possible way of, trying to get Israel skeptic or anti-Semitic people and anti-Israel people back into the MAGA movement, right? And he was constantly being hounded by the Groypers nonstop. But the idea that he was actually going to turn on Israel is silly because he was never going to turn on Trump. And the example I used is Jeffrey Epstein. He had been a big Jeffrey Epstein booster, talked about it quite a bit, right? Someone should ban you from existence as chicken tender enjoyer. Wait, why? Wait, that chatter has been in here before, right? That's not a new chatter. What's good, King? Hello. How we doing? Oh, God.
Excited?
Yeah, I'm stoked. You say you're going to need another vacation after this one? Is that what you said?
Hell yeah.
Wait, why? Because it's gonna be work.
Traveling so much, dude. We are filming so much.
Brother, you telling me that I was in multiple places this past week.
Man, this is where I'm in for a lot of work this trip.
No, oh, Chicken Tender and Drawers is a first-time chatter. This is a username that I feel like I've seen before, but I guess you're right.
Kind of feel like we live in a post-Epstein world, and we know how stories get shut down. And
Is there more?
they is a word, so like I don't need to always like say they.
Is there more? I need to see more of this fucking interview. I've heard. I wish Charlie survived just so we could watch you two agree for an hour. It would have been so wholesome and healing. Yeah. Oh, on Israel. Yeah, he was gonna be a committed anti-Zionist, and actually shit on Trump too. He's gonna be like, yeah, Donald Trump is. Is this full 25-minute interview on CNN? What? I can't. I don't have it. I can't watch it, unfortunately, for now.
Like it's just a weird. It's like this is one of these psychology tactics where you're like, who is they? Who is they? And it's like,
Because it sounds like you're saying Jews.
does the word they mean Jews?
When you're talking about Jews, yes.
But if I'm not talking about Jews, then they doesn't mean Jews. When I say they want us to believe this or they want us to believe that, and you hear Jews, that's your own derangement, right? If I want to say something about Jews, I'll say it. If I want to say something about Israel, I will say it. If I want to, just like when I want to say something about black people, I'll say it. When I was saying during BLM, they want us to believe, nobody said, do you mean Jews? And so again, it's one of these trash tactics to make people fearful to speak. If I want to say Jews, I will say Jews. I don't fear saying Jews. When I say Zionists run the media.
Wait, what do you mean? When you say BLM and they, yeah, you mean like BLM supporters, but yeah, if you're talking about Jews and you say they, yeah, you mean the they means Jews. Like what? Yeah, when she says like, oh, they want us to believe BLM is, popping or whatever, she might mean black people or she might mean the Democrats. But yeah, you could totally say they when you're talking about Jews. It's just entirely dependent on what she was saying.
Yeah, I mean.
But the difference is like she is genuinely anti-Israel as well as being genuinely anti-Semitic. So the lines do get blurred. That's true. The lines do get blurred. So I think one of the worst things you can do if you are actually invested in identifying someone's anti-Semitic tendencies is to bring the conversation back to Israel. Because you are always, a lot of people in the media don't understand this. But if you actually refer to Zionists or to Israel, and then you yourself actually slam Jews in there, you're actually doing a disservice because it goes back to the same conflation that I was talking about earlier. And this is a big part of the problem with the media where like I think she uses ZOG, right? Zionist Occupied Government, which is anti-Semitic. It's like David Duke, right? David Duke said that. But if you were to ask the average person, or in general, like if you were to say like, well, don't you believe that like a lot of people in the American government, regardless of their background or religious beliefs, are genuinely invested in Israel, are firm and committed Zionists? It's true, they are. So that is the most nefarious part about anti-Semitic white supremacist conspiracies, is that the parts that are actually couched in real truths, they must be dealt with delicately. The reason why I say that is because if you don't handle that delicately, like you're gonna lose the argument. You're gonna actually make other people also lean in to the anti-Semitic conspiracy. You're gonna verify the anti-Semitic conspiracy. In a way, it's not dissimilar to like when Zoran says the boots on your neck of the NYPD were laced by the IDF. When he's talking about that, he's talking about the fact that the IDF has trained the NYPD, that the NYPD has a liaison office in Kfar Saba. And when people turn around and say, oh, that's anti-Semitic, why do you say that? That doesn't make people go, oh shit, that's anti-Semitic. Let me not say that. That makes people go, why the fuck are you saying that's anti-Semitic? It's the truth. It makes people actually, it has the reverse effect. And that's what the problem is with a lot of the media, where they cannot contend with a world where most people don't fuck with Israel, and they're still operating with the old guard methods, right? Like they're operating with the old guard mentality, where it's like, oh, you say something is anti-Semitic, everybody shuts the fuck up. You say, if someone is being critical of anti-Semitism, or someone is being critical of Israel and you say it's anti-Semitism, they shut up. Okay? But now, because nobody fucks with Israel anymore, and Israel's approval rating is in the fucking gutter and only getting worse, when you say something is anti-Semitic, and it's like something that people can observe, it's like observable reality, it makes people go, okay, then I guess anti-Semitism is fucking bullshit, or okay, I guess I am anti-Semitic. What about all the other instances of real historic anti-Semitism? And it causes them to start falling for reactionary, fascist, anti-Semitic ideology. You understand? That's it. Going full yay? Yeah, that's how people turn full yay.
Zionists run the media. People that support the political ideology of Israel run the media. Any other things that I can help clarify?
But are you familiar with this like very long-standing trope?
Couldn't give a shit about a trope.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. This is unironically the worst way to fucking argue with someone like Candace Owens on this issue. You have to identify moments where she has straight up sincerely been anti-Semitic, okay? And just ask her about those things. Is she talking about the Talmud? Is she talking about like Jews as a monolithic force? These are the moments that you're supposed to identify. If you want to actually tackle anti-Semitism, you have to tackle the anti-Semitism. The moment that you start talking about Israel is a moment where you've lost that argument, because Israel is the way that anti-Semites couch their anti-Semitic theories with reality. You know how we say like the greatest way to create a conspiracy is to center it around a kernel of truth? The anti-Israel sentiment is the kernel of truth that actually all of the anti-Semitic arguments are packaged around. A lot of these guys don't realize that, and because they think like, oh, you just say something is anti-Semitic and everyone's gonna fucking be like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry for saying this, you're right. It doesn't work that way anymore. It never should have worked that way, because fucking shitting on Israel is absolutely appropriate. It's been an apartheid state for 80 goddamn years. And an apartheid state that actually was allowed to exist because America gave it unlimited support and political cover and unlimited weapons and allowed it to do whatever the fuck it wanted to do. But that's the problem. I believe a lot of the fascistic takeover tactics that Trump and Stephen Miller were planning got completely side-railed by the overwhelming consensus from both the left and the right of general disdain and hate for Israel, in large part due to the genocide they're still committing, but also in part just out and about anti-Semitism. The Trump regime doesn't really know where they go from here. This is just my opinion. Curious on your take? No, absolutely. It's a major fissure, as I said. That, Jeffrey Epstein, which ironically also ties back to Israel in a meaningful way. All of these things actually became major hurdles for the Trump base to consolidate support at a time when they desperately need it. Meanwhile, they're also hemorrhaging the independents that voted for them. There's a lot of buyer's remorse because they've ruined the economy even further instead of actually fixing it. So, yeah, a lot of people fucking hate it.
I really try not to curse, but I just felt like we needed to kill it real quick. You know what I mean? Just get her to move on from it, because I really don't care. I'm so tired of these words. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Are you exhausted?
And also this argumentation, this line of argumentation, especially for someone on the right, is so successful. I don't give a shit about you calling me a bigot. That is at the root of right-wing sentiment, right? Like, that is at the heart. That's the entire movement. Like, there are people who voted for Donald Trump because they wanted to fucking say slurs. You know what I mean? Like what makes you think Jews were always going to be in this fucking special status? Like, it's so stupid. Of course they were going to eventually be like, yeah, and the Jews are actually responsible for all of the other gay and woke shit that we have to deal with. Especially because that's like historically at the heart of all fascist and reactionary conspiracy theories. So it's very stupid, and I don't think anyone in the media is like aware of what normal people think. They're just so far removed. They're all highly educated people. They all agree with one another. There are some, for sure. There are some, especially in the lower ranks, like, journalists, people that are constantly by design having to talk to people of different backgrounds and whatnot. Like, they're aware of it. There are people who definitely also are against Israel as well, but they're fucking quiet. They have to be quiet, because otherwise you don't really get you don't really get promoted. And that structure definitely exists. So people that are careerists will either already organically believe these sorts of things, or like organically believe, Israel's awesome and great and whatever, or they just slowly but surely lean into it so that they are so they can maintain their career ambitions.
Tired, collectively we're tired. I had to shut it down because I suddenly realized I was homeschooling my toddlers. And I told her, as the interview goes on, I was like, look, I have toddlers at home. I can't teach you, basic sentence. I'm teaching my toddlers how to read. And here I am, I'm teaching her how to understand they in a sentence. That's a place. What are we doing? How old is this person? And she says she's the same age as me. And I'm going, you missed first grade?
We're in a business where people comment on.
Anyway, Hazana, she ever reached out for a collab? Candace Owens, she blocked me many years ago. I've been anti Candace Owens for many, many years. Anyway, I love you guys. I gotta go. We gotta shoot Firan. But the next time I'm live, I will be live from China. And yeah, very, very, very exciting stuff. Lots of travel.